Water is life! Water is life! Water is life! Water is life! Water is life!
When it comes to protecting Oregon's coast, we're a bipartisan state. In the same fashion that Oregonians have come together and bound together in support of public beaches, in support of a bottle bill, the first in the country, we are united in understanding the threats that offshore oil drilling poses to our way of life, our jobs, and our coastal economy. We will not gamble our ocean resources with dangerous oil exploration and polluting drilling activities and exploration that put our future and that of future generations at risk. And I'd like to say a few words on behalf of the recreational community, those folks that enjoy the coast, to walk on the beach, to go surfing, photography, for wildlife viewing, for tide pooling. We cannot imagine an Oregon coast with offshore oil drilling. As we heard from Senator Roeblen, at Christmas time we see crab boats on the horizon. I'd like to continue seeing crab boats on the horizon, not oil platforms on the horizon.
Yeah!
Now, you probably heard some numbers tossed around about Oregon's ocean economy, and the National Ocean Economics Report and Program reports about $2.5 billion annually that's invested or is market of our ocean. That's a pretty shy number for what is actually realistic for our coast. When I look at recreation alone, in 2011, the Surfrider Foundation conducted a study on non-consumptive recreation, people that just enjoy the beach, enjoy surfing, tide pooling, as I mentioned before. $2.4 billion in annual expenditures.
Yeah!
That is an economy we cannot risk with offshore oil drilling, and we will not accept that off of our coast. In a moment here, we're going to hear from our state treasurer, Tobias Reed, who's going to speak a little bit more to the economy, the important economy of the Oregon coast, and that of our future generations, and what's important to us here. We see a renewable future in Oregon. We do not see stronger dependence on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
It's dinosaur energy, and we are not living in the dinosaur age.
And I want to just take a minute to introduce the next speakers. Elk and Alicia Littleleaf are good friends from the Warm Springs tribe. They're a husband and wife fly fishing guides, experts on landing salmon and steelhead and rainbow trout on the Deschutes River. They came all the way over from the Warm Springs tribe. These are the Littleleaf guides. They know what they're doing. They have a true passion and love for the earth, Mother Earth, and all that it provides to their community as well as ours. Let's welcome the Littleleafs, please.
Wigwa. My name is Alicia Littleleaf. This is my husband, Elkie. We are Warm Springs and Wasco descendants from the Warm Springs tribe. And we are originally from the mouth of the Columbia, the Astoria and the Chinookan area. That's where our people descend from. So that's why we are here. We are here to speak on the behalf of our natural resources. That is the salmon, the steelhead, the lamprey, eel. I can go on. The huckleberries, the roots, there's so many natural resources that are involved, and it would be a domino effect if there was to be any drilling and oil effect. We already know there's too many risks involved, and we're here to speak on behalf of those natural resources that can't speak for themselves. And we're also here to keep the movement alive. Water is life, because without water there is no life, and that water has to be kept clean and pure and cool. And as Bob said, that we are from the Columbia River, but we're also from the Deschutes. That's where we reside now. That's where our livelihood is. So we still depend on these natural resources. It is our livelihood. We fish for these salmon, these trout, this steelhead, and it provides for our family, and it's supposed to be for future generations to come, not just for the next generation or the next after that. It's supposed to be for 7 times that and more. And I'll let my husband speak, but this is for all of us, for not just the indigenous, but for all of us, and we have to continue to work with our allies and to continue to amplify our voice, and to continue to keep getting right done and do right by our natural resources, our Mother Earth, our Nichiwanapum, that is the Columbia River. We're Columbia River people. Water is life.
I'm upset for coming out here. I'm upset that I have to keep standing up, fighting for our resources and speaking up. I'm upset for seeing all these foreign companies that are coming here, taking advantage of our resources for a profit. And these people that are trying to take over our resources, that are trying to drill in our coastlines and for profit, do not realize the dangerments that are happening to our society, that's happening to our natural wildlife, our orcas, our killer whales, our sea lions that are coming up the river. All these are man-made problems, and they're here for a reason. And these people can't see that, so we have to step up as citizens in Oregon, as natives. We all have to unite and step up to these people and let them know that we want to keep our coastlines clean and pure as it should be, because we all live it. Our 1855 treaty, that's our agreement to keep all of our lands sacred as it should be, because if anything out on that ocean coast destroys any of those rivers that are coming in, that's going to affect our way of life, and we've been dependent on that for thousands of years. And I'm upset for this happening. That's happening. We need to end this now. Step together. No oil on our coast.
And I just have to state that we do this as a fishing guide service, but as tribal members, as concerned tribal members, we've opposed no coal, we've opposed no Nestle, we've opposed no oil, we oppose no oil transferred by railway. There's so many things that you could be involved. You can get online and you can look up all these different hashtags, hashtag no Nestle, no coal, no oil. And you can find out what those all mean by just simply clicking on those hashtags. Those are keywords that are very important that we use on social media on a daily basis. We're almost crying and trying to open eyes all the time and trying to get more people to come and join our battle with us. But right now I'd like to take this time and introduce our tribal council lady. Her name is Karina Miller, and she has been involved with us, and she has went down to Standing Rock with us in our canoe family.
Karina Miller. I'm very thankful to be here today. I'm very thankful you are all here today, that we're all here together standing against this. All right. For the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs and the Native people of Middle Oregon since time immemorial, all that was needed to survive was provided by nature. Roots and berries came from the earth, which also sustained deer, elk, and other wildlife, and the water has provided salmon and eels. Waikunush is the Ichishkeen word for salmon. For tribal people in Oregon, salmon is and always has been a central part of our lives and our culture. As a tribal leader, part of my responsibility is to speak for the things that cannot speak for themselves, to think ahead 7 generations and make decisions that will impact their success or their struggles. Our salmon spend at least a year in the ocean before returning to their home rivers and streams to spawn. They survive predators, ocean conditions, and commercial harvests, and may swim hundreds of or even thousands of miles to get back to the stream where they hatched. But only a small percentage of the salmon make it home. Endangering this cycle of life further by allowing oil and gas drilling and transport which threatened ocean habitat cannot be allowed. It is not only the life of the salmon at risk, but loss of first foods that sustained our ancestors and that connects us to them now. In addition to our historic and spiritual relationships with these fish and its obvious negative impact on marine life, offshore drilling for oil and gas will have negative impact on coastal commerce, tourism, recreation, fishing, navigation, marine transport, public access, and abundant marine life. Oil and gas lease sales off the Pacific coast, drilling and transportation of oil and gas are not in the best interest of our economies, our environment, or our people. I want to say thank you to all the elected officials who have taken a strong stance against this, who are here today making statements against this, who are in DC making statements against this, tribal elected officials across the country making statements against things like this. Now, I'm really thankful for these rallies. I'm really thankful for these issues that are finally bringing communities together that haven't traditionally been allies. Tribes have had a hard time with colonization. Chush, Iwa, Wikishwit. That means water is life. Chush, Iwa, Wikishwit. Let's chant it 5 times. You ready? So they can hear. You ready? Chush Iwa Wakishwit. Chush Iwa Wakishwit.